Local 22 News starts now with your forecast first.
Good evening, folks. I'm SkyTrack meteorologist Torrance Gosher. That fog is rolling itself on in. Just about an hour ago, we were able to see a few miles from our station here in Colchester. Now you can barely see down to the intersection of Mountain View Drive and US Route 7's Route 2, which is just about a quarter of a mile. So reduced visibility at times, but in nearby Burlington, just a short jaunt down the road, you're at 6 miles worth of visibility, 10 miles worth of visibility in Montpelier. You see these are some localized areas of fog. Rain continues to fall down across the region, light for now, but a band of strong showers and thunderstorms are sliding their way east. By tomorrow morning, right around 8 o'clock, much of the heaviest rain is coming to an end. Temperatures climb through the 50s, and then they're going to crash. We'll talk about that and the flood threat as we go in here on Local 22 News.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders campaigning in the Midwest this weekend. Briefly today, disrupted by a protester. We have the video. And police in Williston looking for 2 suspects believed to be involved in an organized multi-state retail theft sting. Plus, dozens hop into a chilly Lake Champlain. Of course, it's all for a good cause.
From WVNY, this is Local 22 News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Sunday night. I'm Spencer Connell. Let's waste no time to get right to it. First on Local 22 News tonight, the vast majority of the region is under a flood watch tonight. For the latest on that, we head right back over to meteorologist Torrance Gosher, who's standing by live in the Weather Center. Tori, I understand there's some minor flooding happening already in the Northeast Kingdom.
That's right, Spencer. We're talking specifically about the Barton River, which is in Coventry, and that went into flood stage earlier this afternoon. Now, flood stage is anything above 8 feet, and as you can see, the current flood stage is 8.3 feet, so it's barely above flood stage. So minor flooding is expected. The National Weather Service said areas between Maple Street to River Road will be impacted. That's between Orleans and Coventry Station. Also extensive field flooding and lowland flooding. We'll definitely start to see that across the region as more rain continues to fall. Here's a live look at Sky Tracker radar. You got some light showers across northern Vermont and the North Country. The pink indicating some light wintry mixed showers, some of the higher terrain of the Adirondacks and the northern spine of the Green Mountains. But there are more heavier rain showers still to come. How much more rain are we anticipating on seeing? Anywhere from another maybe ½ inch up to 1.25 inches worth of rain. You couple that in with the amount of snow that's still on the ground. The spine of the central northern Green Mountains still have over 100 inches of snow. Very similar in the central portion of the Adirondacks. So you have all this warmth and this moisture, and it's going to lead to flooding across New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York. That's why there's a flood watch now in effect and will remain in effect through tomorrow morning. Here's a quick look at those rivers to look out for if you live near any of them. Definitely something you want to keep a close eye on, especially those tributaries that flow into them as well. Now, Spencer, this storm, very extensive, all the way from here in northern New England down to the Gulf Coast, where it's turned deadly.
That's right, Tori. At least 8 storm-related deaths have been confirmed as severe weather moved across parts of the South this weekend. One Texas town hit not with 1 but 2 tornadoes, all within 90 minutes. Here's Marcus Moore with more from Alto, Texas.
Throughout the weekend, severe weather moving across parts of the South. Nearly 200 weather incidents from Texas to South Carolina.
Still getting reports of tornadoes on the ground.
Residents in Monroe County, Mississippi, forced to take shelter.
We had 12 people, 2 kids, and about 5 dogs. All just huddled in the closet.
The powerful storm leaving a path of destruction.
We had a lot of damage here in Hamilton, and we've worked diligently throughout the night to get the roads cleared.
In Texas, a powerful EF3 tornado touched down in the town of Franklin. Cars tossed, homes there destroyed, thousands left without power.
My house was just lifted, just scattered over the backyard.
Cherokee County hit by 2 tornadoes within 90 minutes. Residents now surveying the damage. Here in the town of Alto, Shamika Johnson thankful her family is okay, but her home is a total loss.
Material things can be replaced, but at the same time it do hurt because you have to start over.
The severe weather hitting an annual festival in nearby Caddo Mound State Park. At least 1 person was killed and dozens of others hurt.
Everyone that's not connected to the search, rescue, or workers Please stay home.
Strong winds uprooting this tree in Angelina County, claiming the lives of 2 young boys.
That's where I noticed that the tree had fallen on their vehicle. I knew that, it wasn't a good outcome.
And officials in Louisiana say lightning strikes may have sparked this massive fire, a school engulfed in flames. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Okay, that was Marcus Moore with that report from Texas. As our meteorologist Torrance Gosher mentioned earlier in the newscast, the northern edge of this storm will be starting to impact the region overnight. He'll have more on that in his full forecast in just a few minutes. We are your local election headquarters. Vermont Senator and presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders is focusing his campaign efforts this weekend in the Midwest. Today, Sanders was in Ohio for a town hall which was briefly disrupted by a man protesting the senator's second bid for the White House. The protester shouted Trump 2020 as he was taken out of the auditorium and appeared to be displeased with what he called Sanders' socialist views. The senator carried on with the event, taking questions on various topics, including health care and the federal minimum wage. You can see the protester there. Sanders also got tough when it came to President Donald Trump and the recent shutdown of the federal government. Take a listen to what he had to say.
You are a really tough guy and you were prepared to shut down the federal government. You're really a tough guy and deny tens and tens and hundreds of thousands of workers a paycheck. You're really tough on that one. Well, let's see how tough you are. Tell General Motors today, no more federal contracts.
Tomorrow night, Sanders will take part in a Fox News town hall. Meanwhile, the Democratic field of presidential candidates continues to get bigger as South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg officially announced his candidacy Sunday. Buttigieg is a fast-rising Democrat who has gone from receiving less than 1% of support to solidly standing among the other candidates. It has been a whirlwind of a few weeks for Buttigieg, who has crisscrossed the country, meeting with voters, including stops in New Hampshire. A senior aide says Buttigieg will focus on 2 topics in the coming months: the need for a generational change in the country and the idea that he is an entirely different political figure at a time when the American people are looking for something different in their politics.
When something is grotesque, it's hard to look away. And the horror show in Washington is mesmerizing. It's all-consuming. But starting today, we're going to change the channel.
Buttigieg would be the youngest president elected and first openly LGBTQ person to hold that office. One of Buttigieg's primary opponents will be Kamala Harris, who has released her taxes from 2004 to 2018. According to the returns, she and her husband reported an adjusted gross income of nearly $2 million for 2018. Over the last 5 years, Harris and her husband paid more than $2.2 million in federal taxes. Her campaign said the release makes her, quote, the most transparent candidate in the field when it comes to information about personal finances. Harris also supports congressional legislation requiring a president's tax returns to be made public. Senator Bernie Sanders says he plans to release his tomorrow. Switching gears now with a quick look at tonight's Crime Watch. Police are looking for 2 people involved in a retail theft ring they say stretches across multiple states, including Vermont. Williston police are looking for 23-year-old Mariah Kalos and 38-year-old Vito Cascao. Both of Brooklyn, New York, are wanted for a theft in Williston that happened on April 6. Police say the pair fled the area and were later tracked down in New Hampshire. The man is also tied to several $1,000 theft from December. The 2 were released from New Hampshire police custody, but there are warrants out for their arrest in Vermont. Anyone who may know their whereabouts are asked to call police in Williston. We also have an update tonight to pass along. The 2 ambassador bears from the Adirondack Wildlife Refuge in Wilmington, New York, are finally home this weekend. You will recall the 2-year-old black bears went missing 2 weeks ago. According to the Adirondack Wildlife Refuge Facebook page, Louvet, the brown black bear, was spotted along the east side of Route 86 Friday morning. The second black bear, Hote, was found earlier today in the Quaker Hill section of Wilmington. Now, the Wildlife Refuge will undergo upgrades to the bear enclosure to ensure that an escape like this does not happen again. Finally, in Community Matters this weekend, nearly 100 people took a dip into Lake Champlain this morning for the 12th annual Big Chill. And it certainly was cold out there today. It's an annual fundraiser to support the Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont. 10 different teams, you can see a couple of them there, took the plunge in. It was about 35 degrees when they did that. It's local 22 and 44s. Glenn Classy MC the event. You can see him there. He was all bundled up. Here's one of the team presidents.
My team's the Quinny Dippers, named after my daughter Quinn, who has epilepsy. So the Epilepsy Foundation helped us when she was having trouble. She's good now, 5 years seizure free, but we jump in every year to help the Epilepsy Foundation continue to do what they do every year.
Just to make it clear, the water was 35 degrees. That's what Torrance says anyway. Thanks to Malice Bay Rescue for keeping everyone safe this afternoon while they jumped into the water. The Epilepsy Foundation of Vermont aims to raise $10,000 every year with this event. Coming up, while the numbers are dwindling, the flu season is continuing across the country, making it one of the longest seasons ever. We'll tell you what you need to know in Health Matters straight ahead.
You're watching local news that matters with Spencer Conlin, Sky Tracker meteorologist Torrance Gosher, and the Local 22 sports team. This is Local 22 News at 11.